Guys, welcome back to actually, this is a very special episode of Just Two Boys. This is Just Two Boys
After Hours, guys. Just Two Boys After Hours is you're not a traditional Just Two Boys podcast. It's more like we have a topic that we want to discuss. For the most part, I feel like me and WAHLID are on the same wavelength when it comes to a lot of the issues and topics. Okay, you don't have. Anyway, so I feel like people like to hear about us. We like to make some podcasts where we talk about issues and things like that, which we enjoy doing. And then sometimes we want to
be fun and be goofy.
And then sometimes we want to talk about issues, but then also have maybe some opinions that don't match with ours to come on the podcast and discuss.
And sometimes we like to get serious.
Sometimes we like to get serious and dark and talk about
realistic. Anyway, so for our first episode, we are joined by co-creator / co-founder. I was going to say founder of
co-founder,
the creative lead of Punga, the clothing brand. I'm currently rocking it right now. He's generous enough.
Which, if you guys don't know, pungaclub.com is a clothing line that my brother and I have launched. But
it's only the freshest thing that's come out in the past decade.
All right.
And my brother is. I'm telling you guys, when it comes to fashion, there's no one like my brother. He is a very good fashion little boy. He's a good little young little boy. And he's my brother.
Look at him.
If you've watched Just Rain videos, you know Punga on Purpose, Punga Boys. It's been a huge theme. And now it is actually coming into fruition. So there's my brother, Anmol.
Yeah, is there anything you want to, before we start the episode, you want to talk about?
Yeah, my name's Anmol. Go by Anmollium.
Okay.
2 L's for gal, if you didn't remember.
We're also joined by somebody who is...
I hold her very dear to my heart. I just met her today in real life. HorsePowar.
Hello.
If you guys don't know HorsePowar, we have a podcast with her. Either it's out right now or it has not coming out.
Hopefully it never comes out. Am I right, brother?
Yeah. So we're joined on this podcast today, and we've actually been talking about this issue at home, and me and my brother.
No. You guys weren't talking about it. You guys were arguing, screaming.
Oh, yeah, we're
you guys
brothers.
were screaming from the top of your lungs.
Yeah.
Not letting each other finish. So this should be that should just be exactly the same.
I think at the end of the day, me and Mol think the same way. It's just we have a varying difference in opinions, and then those opinions get talked about. And then we also have Horse, who is a woman, creator, rapper.
She is a woman?
You're a woman, right?
I am everything and yet nothing at all.
Okay, well.
Yes, I'm a woman. I'm a rapper. I'm a feminist. I am a strong, opinionated person.
Yeah.
And
I think it'd be good to have
I'm ready to talk some shit.
Yeah, it'd be good to have a woman's perspective on this topic as well.
On everything.
On everything, yes. You're right. On everything, and then also this.
Tell me a real question.
Is it bad if I get a T-shirt that says "This is what a feminist looks like"?
No, if you believe in feminist ideals, which is of equality amongst both sexes.
You do, right? Well,
yeah, I actually do.
That's not a funny thing to you, right? Throwing on a feminist shirt.
Yeah.
This is backfired on you already. We're not even 5 minutes in. And WAHLID's already got damn.
Crazy eyes.
WAHLID intention already here.
Yeah.
So anyways, guys, the topic we were talking about today is one of my favorite rappers, probably my favorite rapper of all time.
Same.
One of the most impactful rappers for me growing up, literally throughout my prepubescent to my teen years, to my early 20s, well into now. And they have made a sort of a comeback, and they're making a bit of a splash because they are very fearless with the opinions they're giving right now. None other than Mr. Kanye.
He's a rapper?
You didn't know?
I thought he was just Kim Kardashian's
I thought he was a prophet. So, I mean, everybody already knows Kanye West.
He wilded.
Some people say he's wildin'. Other people saying he's being mad inspirational. Other people say he's being ignorant.
Sorry, guys. Getting a FaceTime call from my sister. If you don't mind. I'm just going to answer it real quick.
Yeah, no, please. It's not like we're in the middle of...
Yeah. Hey, what's up?
Just to start off, I love 90% of everything that he's saying.
I agree.
I would go as far as saying 98% of everything he's saying. I'm a strong 98% on this. 90% of everything that he's saying, I think I agree with. and I've totally fallen in line with it. And I'm like, yes, I get it. And then there's a few other things that I'm like, I wish you had just articulated this a little bit better. Just a little bit better, because I kind of get what you're trying to say. We're not articulating it so well. But we're not going to talk about the big thing right away. We're going to talk about his tweets. He's been tweeting. When he first started off, he started tweeting about a lot of great tweets. And I was posting them on my story. Motivational tweets.
Yeah, you actually tweeted Kanye is your Beyonce, and I retweeted that.
Yeah.
Because I was like,
try to talk closer to the mic.
Yeah. So I was agreeing that Kanye was my Beyonce.
Yes.
And then I had to unretweet that post.
Oh, really?
Post-apocalypse.
I haven't taken it down. It's still up there.
Oh, yeah,
Kanye West is still my Beyonce.
Yeah,
like
Beyonce
whatever
did some crazy
Beyonce
stuff.
is to women is what Kanye West is to me, and this is not in any way, shape, or form discrediting Beyonce. Okay, because I know why one time I made fun of Beyonce on
the Beehive.
I didn't know. I made fun of Beyonce because she was wearing remember that Coldplay video they did in India?
Oh yeah.
Then she was wearing
I didn't really like that.
like chainmail something like Indian jewelry, but it was kind of cheesy, and I was kind of made fun of her for that.
It kind of reminded me of Chamma Chamma, that Hindi song with Urbala.
It was kind of cheesy. No, the jewelry was kind of cheesy.
Hey, listen, no Punjabi reference.
And
It's actually a Hindi reference.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Ignorant.
So I got attacked by the Beehive, and I learned my lesson. I was like, do not make fun of me. I was just poking fun, and I got reamed, and I was like,
Twitter,
never
do
again.
your thing.
Yeah, literally.
Drag him.
So that's where I realized Beyonce is
Powerful.
she's a religious figure.
Yeah.
It's safe to say. She's a deity.
She's
she's a prophet. Okay.
Twitter.
You know how to go after
Twitter,
her.
do your thing.
Drag him.
So that's what I feel like Kanye West is to me. Right?
No, I retweeted it. I agreed for a moment, but then I had to slow my roll. He started tweeting out some good stuff in the beginning, and then I think it kind of hit a point of when he posted the MAGA hat when he was talking. MAGA. Sorry. It's the Canadian in me.
He is my president.
Okay, so before we get there, a lot of his tweets, there's one tweet that I really resonated with. There's so many, all of his
Fear
tweets.
and love.
Fear and love.
Yes.
Enemies.
Enemies.
The concept of enemy is an illusion. It's not a real thing.
It's a narrative in our head.
It's a narrative in our own head. And I agree with that. I really genuinely don't think that anybody is an enemy, and I really genuinely believe that you, him, we're all.
Well, we are.
You're me, just in a different body. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
we're just
projections and reflections of each other.
As a comedian, we make jokes, and some people tend to get offended. People get offended at stuff I say all the time, even though I'm you. So as a comedian, I understand the concept of offense is not given, it's taken. I get it in the comedian concept because I'm I could say a joke. When we did the Punjabi wedding series,
People hate
the second video, remember how much hate we got for that?
because of the Gurdwara.
Because of the Gurdwara scene, which wasn't in a real Gurdwara.
Yeah.
There's no real
It was fake.
beat or anything there. Everything was, you know what I mean? We were
but-
just recreating, but the amount of hate we got for that was unreal. So I was I'm not, that's an example of I'm not giving offense.
They're taking it.
You're taking it, right? I'm just and I also believe as a comedian, I don't think I think generally my philosophy is we're living in a simulation. Nothing is that serious. Everything is funny. That's the way I like to live life personally, right? And some people will disagree with me. That's cool. But how I live my life is I think everything is funny, and that's how it's that's a positive I think mindset I would like to live my life by. But some people might come at me with that.
It definitely has some weaknesses for.
People like my brother, my own brother Anmol,
what do you mean
has a
in
different
particular?
philosophy. in life.
Well, I'm just saying,
Mike.
like you guys said, there's no harm in doing the Gurdwara scene. You know what I mean? Nobody was
Can
hurt.
you stop shaking the mic.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that, Wally. But yeah, there's no harm in doing the Gurdwara scene. For example, let's flip the switch. Kanye also did some type of thing in his performance. Jesus tour. He brought Jesus Christ, but he didn't do it in a offensive way. So, it's obviously people are very opinionated, so you just got to be
It's
careful
also
with
the
that.
times I think you can
Of course.
if a sick person did a show and brought out Guru Nanak, that people will have
I'm so
there'd be
glad
a
I'm
shitstorm. Or if a Muslim guy did and brought up Muhammad, it would be a shitstorm.
Well, here's
But
an
people can bring out Jesus Christ. It's all relative. Everything's relative
Yeah.
to your culture and
One thing I will take away, and I learned this during my university years, was that the concept of impact versus intent. So my intention might not be to hurt you, but I ended up hurting you. The impact of it was painful or hurtful or it reminded you of something. And now I feel like there are moments in life where you actually, as the person who does that and creates those situations, you have to take accountability for the impact, regardless of your intention. Like and those come in certain places.
So what is what holds more importance to you? Intention or impact? And this is not even don't even think of anything else. Just you personally, tell your truth. What holds more?
It depends on what it is, but I think impact is more powerful to me than what my intentions are. Because a lot of people can say, oh, I meant this, I meant that. But cultural appropriation is a good example of that. Where it's you have people taking certain aspects of a culture. Their intentions were good or they were uneducated intentions. But the impact of that, caused problems. And I think that they need to take accountability for those things. And I think that sometimes runs parallel to certain cases. Maybe this one's a little bit different, but I think that concept of impact versus intent is something to always think about. Yes, these are my intentions, but what is the impact of that?
Like Norm Kelly.
But to play devil's advocate on that, because I love playing devil's advocate.
I love the devil. 666, mother.
I love playing devil's advocate. The devil's advocate on that. Going back to offense given versus offense taken.
Yeah, it's very parallel to that.
Right? It's parallel to it. So if my intention is to do good, and you take it as something offensive,
it's on you.
Isn't it on the person that took offense? They're just projecting their own conditions and their own upbringing onto that situation, being like, this is offensive to me because blah, 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 blah.
But I think that there is a moment as a human that you kind of address the situation and you think about it. Is this gonna hurt someone? And if you're intentionally, knowingly doing that, then I think there's a problem to it. But I just feel you can't really always be oh, well, that's how you feel. It totally depends on the situation. If we fast forward to what we're talking about with Kanye saying some crazy stuff about slavery, yes, that's gonna.
Oh, we fast forward way too.
I know, but
we haven't even gone.
I know, but
we're still on the tweets.
This is a quick take your own choose your own adventures thing right now.
Yeah.
But that really matters. So we'll get back to that. But I'm just saying that's a higher, that has more impact, that has more weight. But then there's stupid trivial things that runs the same thing. But I think you have to be aware as a human. You're living in a society with other humans and you have to be careful. You have to have that love. You have to have that genuine nurturing care, I think, to make the world go round in a sense. And I think that you need to be a little bit aware of that. You can't just be well, this is my intention and I don't care how people feel. And if you are butthurt, fuck you. No, I think there are certain lines that you can't really you have to think about it. Is this going to affect people? And you have such a platform and a voice that you are so influential. You're so influential and you're going to spit I think it's gibberish, but okay, let's continue.
I don't even think it's that. I think it's just if you don't have if you just didn't do the research on it, then you just don't speak on it. That's as simple as that. Especially if it's something that's so sensitive to people, you shouldn't be able to throw yourself out there. Especially we know how Kanye is, man. There's.
Anmol also thinks that Kanye has a secret agenda that he's just trying to sell more albums, which a lot of people think.
100%.
And I think that's 100% true
hand
because
in hand with what he's doing. They're not separate.
Yeah,
he's not just doing it.
But I agree.
He's expressing because he's out of the sunken place.
Amol had a good point where he's also just trying to sell shoes too.
That and it's again,
album, shoes, whatever. It's
but as you said, you were saying, impacts more than intent. I'd say it goes hand in hand, especially how do I explain?
I think it's tough to distinguish.
I think it depends on the situation.
But that's
sure.
that's unfair to say. But overall,
always think about that. To have that conversation.
It's political.
Yeah, but you're saying here. Let me give you an example. All right, let's say a popular hijabi or turban YouTuber, right? All of a sudden is you know what? I don't resonate with the beliefs in wearing a religious thing. Imagine if they're
they were wearing it. They no
they're
longer.
You know what? I'm not gonna wear a turban anymore.
Okay. They take the turban off.
They take the turban off.
Okay.
But now you have their family, right? This is just weird hypotheticals I think because I'm always what if I just got rid of my pug? How much of an impact would that have? It would have a huge impact. But people would be what would your family think? What would the people in the community? What would the kids think? People would. I'm thinking just if I got rid of my pug, this is what people would say to me, and it's I'm just living true to myself. My intention is not to hurt anybody. I just want to be true to myself.
That's different than I think stating certain
How's that
things.
different?
Because this is your personal choice of your life, how you navigate yourself.
Mm-hmm.
If you choose to make any alterations about yourself, that's your life. That only affects truly you. The other people are just like this extra fat that are just clinging on to your
But how does that not apply into every situation?
Because
Like a girl, what if like a Punjabi girl
Apply to Kanye.
wants to become a porn star?
Apply this to Kanye.
Okay. Apply to
Let me
Kanye.
apply to Kanye.
Because I can give you an example of how Kanye's done this before. For example, when he did Yeezus, let's say he's dropping Yeezus, he's on his fashion world, blah blah blah. You know what I mean? It's like, all right, you're going through some struggles, just certain barriers that you can't break down. Mm-hmm. Then you grab the Confederate flag. This is my flag because I can take the meaning of it. Cool. You know what I mean? You did that in that moment. So you're clearly trying to do the same thing, portray the same thing.
I'm all the mic, please.
Is it? Oh, am I not in it?
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Oh, sorry. But yeah, he's
Just stop there.
yeah, it's just you did the same thing with the Confederate flag for Yeezus, sold more albums, caused a scene. You're gonna do the same thing with the MAGA hat to get more sales on 2 new albums and 4 albums they're producing, plus a clothing line, plus shoes, which are all amazing, are gonna be amazing because he is a big influential
You know why I don't think
figure.
it's strictly sales? Because
It's a part of it.
going back to
I
the
don't think it's
Punjabi wedding video, everyone was like, "Oh, you did this controversy just so you could get more views, just so you guys could make more money." And I was like, "Nah, not really."
No, because we need to address how Punjabi weddings are
yeah,
crazy.
we were like, "Yo, it's funny." We were dressing stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's why we make a living.
But it was the
That's how
first
we
time you
make-
guys had done that in that type of
I know, but it's
scene,
just
though.
if honestly, if you had this exact same conversation before we did the Punjabi wedding video, before I started doing stuff that's more out of the box, controversial, I would be totally in line with Anmol's thinking. I'd be like, nah, he's selling more albums, blah blah blah. But
No,
like,
but-
I
I think
get
it's
it.
a part of it. I don't think it's 100%. Though.
I know, but I'm
Yeah.
in that world. But my intent has never been to like. Let me
Piss
see
people off,
how
yeah.
many views and how many
Oh,
much
no,
money.
I'm with this guy all the
Right?
time. Let me tell you.
No, but I
He's a
think
troll.
that-
Oh, he trolls
He's
everybody.
in it for the money. The
I also
cash.
think like a lot of Disney people are extreme haters.
No,
as
they're,
well.
they're not haters.
They
They're-
are.
No, they are.
They're extremists. That's what it is.
All right.
Some
I
of
used
the-
that word once on Twitter and I got attacked. So
No,
I'll never use the word
some
again.
religious people.
Because I called some sick people
Word is
extremists.
bond. Be careful with what you choose.
Right. You're right. But the thing is, like, I always get attacked. I feel I'm with Kanye West only because I will say some stuff on Twitter. I'm like scared to tweet now.
You should be.
especially after the whole wedding thing. Especially like, I was like, I tweeted some stuff. I tweet some stuff about my opinions.
Yeah.
Right, and if for sick people watching, I did some tweets about like Guru Nanak, right, well, his philosophies, and I just pretty much said exactly what he said. So I just tweet some things, but people take everything I say out of context and turn it into this huge story and blow it out of proportion, and I'm like, that's not even what I said. So when Kanye West said, like, when he says, like, yo, you guys aren't even taking what I'm saying, and you're blowing it out of proportion, and you're taking little things out of context and blowing it out of proportion, I feel him on that. Because
Is it that? Is it really that, or is he not conveying his message properly?
So was I not conveying my message properly? Yes, maybe because on Twitter you can't. That's why I
tone, the
That's why I was
mood.
like, yo.
Ow.
That's why I was like, yo, we gotta start this podcast because I can't have opinions.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we can talk about Kanye tweeting about whatever. Like he was on a good trajectory in the beginning, and then
He did the mega hat.
he did
Fine.
the hat.
Let's
Then
go to
he
the
was like,
mega
Donald
hat.
Trump, I love him, and then he's trying to convey that he has no hate for anybody, and I can understand that concept.
So then what's wrong with that?
that concept is chill.
Listen, this is coming from. I'm one of the most critical people of Donald Trump. When that whole thing was happening, every other tweet was about Donald Trump, and I still am the most critical person of Donald Trump. You know what I mean? Like it's
love
like
conquers all. You know?
in
That's
the
what he's trying to
in the
fucking
essence
say.
of like my philosophy. I agree. Yes, love does conquer.
But that's what he's trying to, I think, like say. In
He said it himself. He said in the tweet, he was like, I
love
don't
my
agree.
brother.
I don't agree.
my wife told me to let you know.
Yeah,
that I
because
don't
because
agree.
that's
My
he's
wife.
but that's what he also thinks. He
No,
doesn't
yeah.
agree with everything Donald Trump says. It's not a black and white thing. Keep in mind, I'm not defending Trump at all.
Yeah.
I'm still going to remain heavily critical, just as I was as Trump. I'm
Yo,
just
but-
saying, on a strictly philosophical level, what Kanye's saying is like there is no black and white.
Okay, but fuck whatever he's saying.
Infinite shades
What
of
about the
gray.
MAGA hat though? That he was.
You rate that?
He
You
was
rate it?
asking for a reaction.
No, I don't rate it, but I understand why he did.
You
it.
understand? You okay?
'Cause we're gonna have white supremacy hype beasts wearing fucking Yeezys and then KKK hoods with
Guys,
Supreme on it.
I get it.
the racism is still so. Like,
I get
it's
what he's
there,
trying to do, but he's not.
executing it as
But he's just
well.
executing it as Kanye. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just
Like,
Kanye
as
being Kanye.
fast.
So does
he's
he-
brave.
so-
I'll say that.
But you know what? He's starting a dialogue. Look at us talking about this right now.
Well, I'll talk about anything Kanye does.
Well, him wearing a mega hat has started a huge
Dude,
dialogue.
yeah.
And
No.
it's signed.
You know what it is? American politics is like American politics in general is just
So
you're
dramatic.
either this side
Yeah.
or you're that side.
Yeah. There's no shades of gray.
Yeah, like every human being was either born like this or this. But there's so many varying rainbow of people that have different thoughts and beliefs in between and outward.
But
and-
I feel like the general consensus of what Donald Trump stands for is just like the opposite of what Kanye is trying to promote. And by him, I just feel like he's just like talking gibberish. Like he's just saying because he can say whatever he wants. I feel like he's just saying whatever it just fucking comes out of his mouth, like comes through his mind. He has no thought process of what he's saying. And I truly do believe to think before you speak. And I don't think he's thinking all the time. I think he's gathered some really good thoughts, but I think sometimes he says some stupid shit that he hasn't really thought through, or he's so far removed from society, like normal living, like what we live in, even like I feel like we're even privileged to be like how we're living our life and regular people. He's so far removed from that like he has no understanding anymore of like what is the norm. And I'm not saying the norm in like this like cliche way. I just mean like fucking normal humans working daily dealing with bullshit. He doesn't deal with that. He's so far removed.
Yo, but it's maybe different because I'm American and I'm like watching. I mean, I see people who actually wear MAGA hats. There's real MAGA people. I like the intent he's doing though. I like that.
I agree.
He's getting those two people finally closer together.
Like the Cardi B Nicki tweet. It's like the same concept but in a smaller
yeah,
spectrum.
of course. I mean,
But now he's like,
at
hey,
the end of the day, like my whole philosophy, because I'm just like, yo, we're living in a video game. It's a simulation. Nothing.
no,
is
no,
serious.
no. Don't start this again.
People hate when I talk about the video game, but I honestly believe it.
No, it's the
We're not-
Matrix. We are.
It's like
No, I
everything,
refuse
everything.
to be in a Sims game.
All these standards that we're attaching to how he tweets and what is deemed stupid, what is deemed good, what is deemed
Yeah.
bad is still a construct of our society and our upbringing and how we are as people. True or false?
Amal?
It's true, but when someone's talking about a sense of being a free thinker, I agree with the ideology of that. But there has to be a sense of critical thinking when you're doing free thinking as well. That's the main point out of all this.
critical thinking.
Yeah, that's
course.
literally what it is. Because for example, it's like, oh yeah, I wore the mega hat to thing, blah blah blah. But then when Ti asked him, yo, have you heard about the Muslim ban? Have you heard about the travel ban? What is that? So it's like clearly it's just
So he didn't know what the
He's
Muslim ban.
uneducated.
Hey, there's no Muslim
That's-
ban. It was a travel ban.
travel
Don't get
ban.
it
Sorry about
twisted.
that. The
No,
travel-
but he's uneducated, and you can't make big statements, especially with that amount of platform and privilege that you have for your voice, without
You're right.
like you're just talking literally out of your ass, like literally just talking out of your ass. And I do that a lot, so you can't bullshit a bullshitter,
know
and
what
you
the-
can catch that shit, you know.
Yo, I'm just playing devil's advocate to everything. So
Okay.
don't take everything. I just like playing devil's
Fine,
advocate. So
you
don't
wanna-
take anything that I'm saying as my truth.
No, he supports Trump.
Yeah.
I saw him. He was liking his
That's
tweets.
why you're wearing a white hoodie today.
Yeah.
There you go.
He was liking his tweets.
But is there not a beauty in being able to say whatever comes to your mind without a filter? Because the filters are just still what society has deemed is right or wrong.
No, because if people
Let's
are
look at
just-
Let's look at the overall concept. The overall philosophy is that there is no right or wrong. Everything whatever is right in one culture is wrong in one culture, right? In
Yeah,
another culture.
They say like one person's freedom fighter is another person's terrorist.
Exactly. Like everything is defined by our
What our perception
Like a
is.
guy for sick people, a guy that goes to a barber. I don't know why I keep getting. I'm not gonna come in here, guys. Just so everyone. A dude that goes to a barber shop,
Okay, voodoo, bro.
gets a haircut
Oh,
within
yeah, voodoo,
within a
bro.
sick construct, because I'm sick as well. It's like the worst thing you could do for a sick male is to get a haircut. It's like everything is defined. Yes, exactly. And to you, that's so normal. So it's like everything is defined within its parameters of culture, religion, ideology, and upbringing and conditioning of our generation, the previous generation. So it's like whatever he's saying is coming from a place of love, genuine intention of love. If he's taking the MAGA hat, which let me just be clear once again, I'm not saying I agree with his tactics, okay, but his intention of let me take this one thing that is so hurtful for people in America, and
Yeah,
let me
'cause-
see if I can spin it, which that kind of.
But it hasn't been spun. It hasn't been spun.
Okay, fine. It hasn't been spun yet. But let's just say that's like me taking shitty situation. That's like a comedian. That's what a comedian does.
No, but
they take shitty situations in their life and they spin it into something positive.
The reason why it's different is because there's actual hate crimes going on. People are dying.
Yeah, people are.
There's fucking rallies every.
I agree, guys. I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Stop,
I enjoy
bitch.
No, but okay, if you want.
Why? We're not gonna have the same viewpoint.
But if you want people to have no filter and speak whatever comes to their mind.
Yeah, tell them.
No, I feel like there's a little thing that would help the world go round, and I think it's empathy. I think it's kindness. And I think not everything needs to be vocalized if you think something fucked up. Because I could say 10 million things. Well, not 10 million things. I could say a bunch of things that come off my head that wouldn't be kind or empathetic to your life and what you're going through currently. And I think that it's important to be mindful of the people around you to make this world have a nice flow to it. You can't just be like, ugh, and let me just spit out whatever I say, because I know a lot of assholes who do that and they don't make life easier. It affects all the other people who have been dealing with this, to the police brutality, like the Black Lives Matter movement, what they've been fighting for. It just, and especially coming from the Kanye who talked all this shit about the same exact thing on the other side of the spectrum. And then he gets so far removed, goes to Calabasas, he ends up with a white girl. What, leave your ass for a white girl? He does that same exact shit. And then now he's on the other side of the teeter-totter and he's the one sitting down and you're up in the air and you're like, yo, Kanye, I thought we were both on the same shit. No, it's so different. It's so different.
I agree. I'm with you on that.
No, I know you're with me, but like, I'm just saying this is why Kanye's chatter lately has been problematic post like him wearing the MAGA hat, whatever.
Again, it goes to the basis of it. Kanye West, what is a slave, dude? Like,
a slave
you don't have control over anything over your life. Yeah. You're literally stuck mentally and physically into doing something that you don't want to be doing, or an ideology or some type of realm that you don't have control over.
Okay.
Basis of a slave. Okay. So when you're saying 400 years of it was a
slavery?
Choice, like, dude, come on, man. Like, that's what in my head I'm like, dude, you know what you're saying? You're trying to get a rise out of people. You're waiting for people to be reactive, so you can hit them with the, like the 1-2. But then I'm just waiting for the 1-2. I'm still waiting. Like everything with Trump with the slavery. I'm still sitting here waiting. Like, all right.
Like, people also took clips out of context.
No. Yeah.
Which is unfair to me. I'm like, if you're gonna show the whole thing, show the whole goddamn.
It's kind of, I would say, if anything similar, it's talking about like the colonialism that happens in India and talking about that whole thing and the partition that came about from it, and like that whole hatred between Muslims and Sikhs and Hindus, and then saying like that shit was like, and like making that irrelevant and being like, that wasn't the Brits that fucking did that. That was you guys, and that was a choice that you guys had that Pakistan got separated because of colonialism. But that was a choice. Like, that's like what I would say would be the closest thing to that. But like, you can't undermine, like, slavery was a huge thing. It's going to take years and years past this, like centuries, for people to finally get over that trauma. And that's like ancestral conditioning. That's going to happen for generations to come, that they're going to get over that. That's like talking about the reservations and the First Nations people and being like, that was a choice.
Oh, they got the most fucked.
No, I know, but I'm saying
human beings
I'm saying
on Earth.
that kind of runs parallel to that, and you cannot ever
almost again uncomparable. I think
I think you can kind of run parallel between slavery and the Indian reservation schools. If you're gonna compare something like the Punjabi school thing, like, I mean, not the Punjabi school thing, but the Punjabi wedding thing. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little excited right now, but I would say that those two things, and you would never say that. You would never say the reservation schools were a choice. They got beaten out of them.
100%.
Like, same thing with slavery. That was never a choice. So when Kanye says
same thing with colonialism
shit,
in India.
Yeah.
Same thing with the Mughal dynasty in India.
So I'm just saying, like, those may be relatively similar, but at the end of the day, like, Kanye's spinning some stupid shit.
Because he's not articulating properly.
No, but he's saying the wrong shit. He's like,
it's
in the.
So the Harriet Tubman quote.
I think it's research. I think it's research, and on top of that, I can tell how far removed he is from society because he doesn't have people challenging what he's saying. That's all it is at the end of the day. That's why
I think it's healthy. I agree. I think it's healthy.
You need someone to
have
challenge
dialogue like this for people to talk.
For example, if I was to do something that I would know that would like affect someone, I'm obviously gonna have a discussion with you because I know you're gonna challenge it. I know you're gonna give me the straight facts, whatever it is, blah blah blah. That's all it is. Kanye's in his own world. He's making his own beats. He's dropping songs that he knows in his head is not good. The beat's fire. But he knows that the
I don't
like
know that.
you
Like,
know
we don't know what
doing.
he's thinking.
Scoopity poop. He
No,
knows.
come on.
He's
Scoopity Poop is
No,
a
I-
banger,
that's
bro.
that's
Scoopity
troll.
Poop.
Bro,
and
that's
people are gonna
it.
play
No,
that.
no, sing it, sing it.
People are gonna play Scoopity Poop in the
No,
clubs.
Sing it right now.
As
they're
soon
not.
as
I
they're gonna
disagree.
play a song, then they're gonna play Scoopity Poop. People are gonna go crazy.
People are gonna fucking.
Come on, man.
There's gonna be a new dance called Scoopity Poop where you poop.
Yeah, man. This guy knows exactly like.
No, he's only doing it for Instagram videos and trying to get influencers to
See,
do
that's the wording
funny
you're using.
stuff that
He's
doing.
only doing it for that. That's not only what it is.
I don't think he's
When you
only
make a
doing
song
it.
like that-
hand in
Yo,
hand.
at that
When you're
point,
when you're
that's
making a
trolling.
song like that, it's trolling. When
You're
you're
trolling.
Yeah, it's trolling
when
because
you're
you're
making
trolling
multiple
Ebro,
tweets about Donald
who's
Trump.
butthurt that he didn't get the Charlemagne interview.
I love you, bro.
But hold on,
I don't
hold
say I
on.
hate him, but I'm just saying like I can fully see how butthurt he
Ebro
is.
needs to chill.
But the thing is, he's asking Ebro to do an interview, so is he really butthurt? Kanye West is asking Ebro
Yeah,
to do an
that's
interview to
Kanye
fly out
West.
to LA. So is he
But
really
Ebro
butthurt about
is
not
so
getting an interview? Though?
resistant to like understanding where Kanye is coming from because he's like, nah, man, it's this.
It's
this.
because who Kanye's aligning
I just-
himself with. Look at who his supporting cast is.
Look
like-
who's supporting who?
Look at who the people are giving Kanye West research on the type of things that he's been trying to like prevail. Obviously, Ebro's gonna be like, why? Like that's not no. Like I'm not gonna be here trying to talk to people that are not aligned with what your overall concept is.
Okay,
Which
so-
I agree with.
Okay, so
by
back
the
to
way.
this, back to the Harriet Tubman thing that he retweeted,
I was gonna
right?
ask something dumb. You go ahead.
Okay, well, then we'll go to that, which was he. So my thing, what I think he's trying to say, is that in order to
Free your mind.
free your mind, it's literally you have to empower this in order for everything else in your external world to happen. If you're not free in your mind, if you don't have knowledge in the
He does not have his whole knowledge together.
no. I think what he was trying to say in terms of the slavery thing was like these people, they need to be educated and they need to know what circumstances they're in. So
Mentally
Harriet-
enslaved. That's all.
Yes, they're mentally enslaved. So many people are mentally enslaved. So the Harriet Tubman quote.
Harriet Tubman tweeted back in the day.
Harriet Tubman tweeted back in the day on parchment and pen and quill. She said, "I freed 1,000 slaves, but I could have freed 1,000 more
Had they known.
had they known they were slaves." So you're so conditioned. It's like, it's also sometimes it's like, yeah, of course, it's not your fault if you're
Remind
They
you,
just
this is in a
think they're-
time when
We've
they didn't
grown
have
up
the
conditioned as
resources.
children. It wasn't
Yeah,
our
you-
fault that we brought up a certain way to
You're
think a certain
educated
way.
in a certain way, but also mind you, this comes from a time where they didn't have the resources, the like
Exactly.
not even like
It's all
confidence. But like
stripped
I'm
away.
trying to think of the word, but it's like they were made slaves, beaten, and like sold. Like it's crazy. Like I don't even think like. You can even
100%.
think about like, oh, if I don't think I'm a slave, I'm not a slave. No, it's not
You
that
can't even.
simple.
You don't even know.
I don't.
You
I
don't
can't
have the
even.
vocabulary
I
to
can't
think
even
that way.
fathom
it's
it.
wrong.
I
You
can't.
Yeah.
think it's normal. You like grew up in it.
Yeah.
Or there's so much fear instilled in you.
Yes.
You leave, and this is what happens to you. It's like no.
Your
I might as
family
well
gets
just keep
taken
doing
away.
this.
Like certain things happen. Like
Yeah.
dude, it's like the stakes
This once
are
again,
so
black
much
and white.
higher.
Kanye in that case, he thought very black and white, which was like, yo, if you're trying to get people not to think black and white, you were totally white on that. You were definitely not black. You're definitely white. If you're saying 400 years a slave and it looks like a choice, that is a white. In terms of black and white, that's totally white. I'm with
Just do
you.
your research. Have someone that challenges your points, and then wild out. I have no problem with Kanye wilding out. It's just the way he's being without no research. That's my only thing.
Yeah, and it's this particular topic
Yeah, it's
that
very
is
sensitive,
very
obviously.
fragile.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about his Islam surgeon?
The Dr. Jan something.
Yeah.
I didn't read the full letter back, but
So if you guys don't know, he's putting
his face. But he
as an album,
But
as
also
a forgiveness, which I think is beautiful.
I think it's very courageous. I think it's
beautiful.
But
I
do,
think
you,
it's awesome.
but do you really think it's in a sense of forgiveness? Because I feel like if he was to forgive, he wouldn't use that photo of that. I don't think it would. I think that's like a
Like a
double edged.
mugshot?
Like it's like a
Nah.
fake forgiveness thing.
No,
Well,
I
I think maybe that
at the end of
I
the day,
think he's genuine.
What-
I think his
what was
intentions.
that-
I think he's 100% genuine with everything he's doing right now. So even this dumb shit that he's saying, it's just whatever comes to his mind, he says it. but his intention is like,
he's
whatever
not trying
I'm
to be
feeling,
harmful, but
whatever my subconscious to conscious is coming, I'm saying
But
it.
he's also so dramatic that maybe he does think that this
He's
is
an
a
artist,
sign.
man.
I know, I understand.
You're an artist too, in all
I'm
sense of
gonna
the
I'm
word.
play.
not
We're artists.
sensitive. I'm jaded. I'm
You're-
masked.
I'm
masked all my
everything, but like,
emotions.
okay, but did anyone
I'm hiding
read?
so many problems.
Did anyone
Yeah,
read
exactly.
the letter
I hope
that?
this podcast is out.
Did anyone read the letter of what the response was from the doctor?
I haven't yet.
It was like a 2-page letter, very small text. I did not read it. But,
Just please.
But at the end of it, I think the doctor said, please don't use my photo. Maybe you
said
should
don't use it?
Yeah, he said don't. If you really are about love and forgiveness and you wouldn't use my photo, maybe you should use your cousin's photo. But I wasn't sure. Like, I didn't read the whole thing. And I'm like, is this the cousin who stole the laptop? Like, is this?
I got a cousin who stole my laptop.
Like, is this the cousin? We need to check this, fact check, because right now I'm gonna start talking like Kanye, like saying some fucking alternative facts. Maybe that's why Kanye and Donald Trump have a lot in common.
I think he just came to Kanye's mind to
So
put.
good.
I love Kanye.
Narcissistic is also
What I am.
exactly.
No, but
Narcissistic is like.
No, but I'm saying him being like alternative facts and just saying whatever the fuck.
Here's narcissism to me. This is where narcissism is to me.
Uh-huh.
I think when we were growing up, especially as South Asians, every time we started feeling ourselves, we're like, oh, I feel good, I feel good. We were like, don't do that. We were told to not do that and be humble. Right? For me, I think.
Be humble in the sense of like I want real concrete examples.
Okay, like I'm like, oh man, I did really good in school today. Oh, I did really good in this basketball game today. Like me telling like my uncle, and they'd be like, you're being so egotistical. Calm down.
Oh,
Be
really?
humble. Yeah, like that's the conditioning that I grew up in. So I was like always taught to think that like if I even like felt myself for a second, like if I felt good about myself, that's bad. That's not being humble. So from all that framework, my thing is like narcissism versus
Self-love?
self-love is like I can believe that I'm great and I'm my biggest fan and I think I'm great, but I also think that everyone else has that equal capability of being great and like
There's an abundance of it.
yeah, exactly. It's like it's not just me. Everyone can be great and everyone can be their greatest fans and everyone's great. Versus I think I'm the best and I'm the greatest fan of myself and ain't nobody else on my level. That's narcissism versus self-love.
I believe it.
I can agree with that. And I did notice in that Charlemagne interview that Kanye kind of corrected himself and said like, we're all great artists instead of him saying like I'm the best. But before he did say like I'm the best. Yeah. And I think he's going
There's
through a
nothing
learning.
wrong with saying I'm the best.
Oh no, 100%.
You need
And I
to say
think
that.
he's going through.
There is a balance
journey.
of both for sure.
That's what I'm saying. It's just like I can think I'm the best, and I can also think everybody else is also
The best.
equally the best.
Yeah, and I think that like ego
Versus
plays a
just
huge
being
role
members-
in it, and like surrendering to your ego and
Yeah.
like non-existent ego and like having self-confidence and self-love is a different thing. But I think Kanye saying that shit about the slavery is ridiculous, and people don't forgive that easily, especially someone who has been there as someone who was a navigating force to break through those barriers. And then now you have that guy go on the other side and be like, sucker, I'm on the fucking white side. That's what it feels like, a slap in the face to a lot of black people, especially. But a lot of fans of his, like, he's just got such a powerful voice, and I hate all, like, I love the internet, but I hate the internet because, like, we're giving so much attention to these people that are just having garbage opinions. And I'm not saying garbage in the sense of, like, everyone's entitled to their own thing, but there is, like, a sense of, like, good human, like, quality of being, like, a nice, good, kind, empathetic person in the world. And I think those are who we need in the world, and we don't need any more like Vickies, you know, or like crazy people who are just
Whoa.
What's wrong with your Vicky?
Why you hitting
It's
that
like
little
that,
Vicky,
eh?
man?
I just
Never
mean
mind.
like we put people on such a pedestal with this day and age of social media that like I would like people to be like, you know, have a direction to go in to create the world into a better place. And I feel like
doing it like Lil Tay though, so
yeah, it's Lil Tay from Richmond, BC.
But then you're just saying
Yeah, hold on.
you're
Yeah,
saying
yeah,
we
hold
put people on a pedestal, but you're
There's different level of
you're
pedestals.
contradicting what you're saying though
Okay,
in a
how?
sense
Break it down.
because you're like, hey, why are we putting people on a pedestal? We shouldn't put people on a pedestal, right? Everyone, whoever says that has their garbage opinion has their garbage opinion. But in the same breath, you're saying Kanye West has so much impact on so many people, and whatever he says is going to resonate and impact so many people.
Because that's the truth of the matter.
Right.
The truth of the matter is that we do that. We do put people on the pedestal.
But isn't there a
and then
beauty-
there is an impact. And when we have good
Devil's
people,
advocate. I'm gonna be devil's advocate.
but when we have good powerful opinions that help change, those are the type of people that I would like to see in the forefront.
I agree with you.
Right?
Devil's advocate.
I
Kanye
think
West
Sean,
is finally in a place where without fear he can give any of his thoughts that he has and he can tweet them out, and he's like, you know what, I don't want to be held to, I'm also a human being. Philosophically speaking, he's also a human being just like anybody else.
Yeah.
He's like, I have these thoughts and feelings and I want to tweet them out and I want to say them, and I shouldn't, like when John Legend was like saying the same thing that we're saying right now, he was like, listen, John, this is a fear and manipulation tactic you're using against me for me to not express who I am truly. And as an artist, and as fellow artists here, artists are artists. Artists are going to say whatever comes to them, whatever they feel, whatever emotion they're feeling. We're sensitive people. We're going to say stuff. Some of the world is not going to agree with us, but that's what the beauty of art comes in, is like, the beauty of art comes in, like, you don't have to resonate with what the artist is saying, but some art is so bold that, like, it's gonna cause a dialogue. It's gonna challenge the way people think. It's gonna put a spin on things that aren't like safe or aren't like comfortable to what people have seen already. And that's what art is. That's what the greatest artists of every generation, every time have done. They've really challenged the way people have thought and brought new ideas and have been uncomfortable.
I have two things to say about that. I think one thing that we need to learn as a world, as a civilization, is to not idolize. And I think that's one thing about Sikhism that has been, like, I think misconveyed in the sense of, like, I heard, this is what I know about Sikhism, like, the gurus didn't want to be, idolized.
Yes!
Right? And yet they are. Because the human
Yes.
nature was to, like, we just, like, get obsessed with something. And
talk
I think
all the
that
time,
we need to, like, divert from that narrative, and we need to start realizing that the people around in our circles are the people we should care about and focus on, and not these people that we like have false like realities with, which are like these celebrities, which is like I think like the black vortex of like not a good place to be in.
That's what Kanye's saying.
But at the same time, that false reality can also be something that you're working towards to align yourself to make it an actual reality. For example, if you're saying that if Kanye and them are so far out from us, anything can happen to me tomorrow for me to create good art, for me to be in that position or close to him, beside him, for me to be doing the same thing that he's doing. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Kind of.
I disagree with that.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
No, like you'll do what it.
Yeah,
like,
so I don't
like,
like.
I think the greatest artists
I
of our
don't believe
generation,
anything's false though. You know what I'm saying?
so
Like,
many
I don't
people
think that like.
misunderstand what they're trying to say. And I genuinely
No,
believe
yeah.
that.
I just feel like I think a good example is just like when you like don't meet your idols is like a good saying, like because
Oh, come on.
No, not really.
no, well I've had an experience where I met an idol of
Sure.
mine and it was I can't name
No. Let's take it
Drop
into
that name.
No, you
drop that. Drop that.
fine.
You say, let them know
Nobody
who
should
it
be
is.
idolized. You're right.
Well,
Like I don't idolize Kanye or like idolizing Beyonce. Let's say.
Well, she can
I don't want to get into. I'm just saying, or go back to your point. The Sikh gurus, like people are like, when people are like, oh, the Sikh gurus
like we're not
are
supposed to have
perfect.
photos of them in our house in Matartik?
Yeah, but I'm just saying, when people are like, everything that the Sikh gurus did are perfect. I'm like, no, they were also human beings that
and
felt
there's
human
flaws
emotions, and they had flaws as well. Like, how can you expect us to live up to these standards if they're like perfect? How can we reach perfection?
Which I think
Humans are not perfection. All right, go ahead.
Alright guys, so we've had quite the debate. We got one side here, and of course we got the son of a bitch devil just
Straight up.
blurring out opinion like he thinks he's
Like
a
he's
god.
Kanye West or something.
I'm just trying to facilitate a discussion here.
Anyways, guys, so we're gonna do a last round of some words being tossed around before we exit out of this.
Yeah.
Amol, you want to say?
Everyone, give their last word and sum up.
Let's just start with Horse because I think
Horse did a great
ladies
job.
version. She did very well articulating herself. So.
Final word. We have to say about this.
One word or just a couple?
The final, like thoughts,
phrase.
yeah.
Okay. All I gotta say is I'm a big fan of Kanye, and I always root for him because I'm a lover of his music and his tastes and his opinions most cases. But for me, something I'm learning in this new year is just like to align myself morally and ethically with people who align themselves with the same concepts that I do. And I'm not going to waste my time with mediocre relationships or ideals or things that really like drain me of this weight of like negativity. And I just want to be kind and empathetic to people. So I just don't agree with what Kanye is recently saying. I hope he comes to terms with what is truly like resonating in his head and like educate himself, because I do think education and awareness is the number one thing you can do before you can take action in anything. You need to know the facts. So Kanye had a song called Facts. Fucking get the facts, bro. This is fame, bro.
Great.
Just,
Great
any
final
last words?
Anmol, final words.
Sorry.
Yeah, Kanye. Let me just break it down for you real quick. Let's listen.
He's not
dog.
watching this podcast.
I know. Yeah, you never
Right?
know. You
Yeah,
never
you
know.
know.
You never
You
never
could.
know.
I would.
I love Kanye.
Yeah,
On
Kanye,
the internet.
the most influential of our generation, easily. You know what I mean? Highly impactful. I just believe that anything you said or will say is obviously going to impact anybody at this point. Just please do your research. That's all it is, man. Just do your research. Fix up a little bit. Drop some more clothes. Drop some more albums. I'm very excited because when Kanye is on some type of wave, when he's on some like jagged whatever, he drops something fire. So
best stuff comes out, yeah.
I'm very excited to see
Submerged.
what he's trying to do with his art and his creativity, more so because from something that I've learned from in Toronto is you also have to separate an artist from their art, even though they do go hand in hand and are parallel. But sometimes when people do say certain things, you just have to separate them because idols do become your rivals. But then again, you gotta come back to reality because you can be your idols.
All right. At the end of the day, my last words are Kanye West, one of the most impactful people, one of the people that I resonate with a lot. And I always find whatever wave he's going through in life, I always find that I'm in some way parallel going
right.
through.
Yeah.
So you're going to have me have the last word, or are you going
No,
to...
go ahead.
You're dating Kim K too. Yes.
So I'm not dating, minus me dating a Kardashian, which, I don't know, like Kendall, if you're watching this, hit me up. I feel like me and Kendall will probably...
Oh, no.
What about Chloe? She's heartbroken.
Which one?
Tristan, another Toronto boy.
No, I have zero interest in Chloe.
Oh.
Yeah, none. So what I think is Kanye West is like I 98% agree with everything that he's saying. 95. Who? Hey,
No,
listen.
that's fair.
That's your opinion.
That's fair.
90's fair. 90's fair.
On the bigger scale, on the bigger picture, in terms of his intentions, I agree with what Kanye is trying to do, and I support what Kanye is trying to do. And my only thing is like Kanye, just don't, because I've been there. Don't revert all of your ideas and expect everyone to understand what you're trying to say via tweets, via these headlines. And the media is gonna take snippets and shit that you're gonna say out of context. You know this. You know that. So like, I don't know. Try to find a medium that's a little bit better, that you can fully articulate your thoughts without people getting triggered or getting upset at what you're saying. But if that's your intention, you're trying to start a dialogue, fine. Like, I don't know. You know what I mean? But like, at the end of the day, I do believe love conquers all. And I do believe that he is, sometimes he says some ignorant stuff that might not be in line with whatever people think, but I think that his intentions are coming from love, and everything that he's doing is coming from love. Even love thy enemy, that philosophy, I think he's coming from love. WAHLID, what do you have to say?
Well, some people actually might disagree with me, and especially all of you guys, and some of you guys at home watching this. All I gotta say really is make sure you follow us on Twitter.
God damn it. I
there you
some
go.
dumb shit like this.
/Just2Boys, and be sure to stay tuned and with all future episodes of Just Two Boys and Just Two Boys After Hours. All right, guys.
Thank you so much for watching. And hey, leave it in the comments below what you guys think.
Who your favorite debater was.
Yeah, sure. Leave it in the comments below. This was a great discussion. I think we got a lot of different sides, a lot of different points, which is what I wanted in this podcast. And I think it was great. We all learned something, and we all talked, and we all had some brain food.
All right, love you. Bye.
All right, bye.